some nostalgia. You know, I was born in 1955, so in 1965 I was 10. So from 65 to 70, I got to hear some of the really, really classic rock and roll. And then from 70 through 79, the best music of of any era, in my opinion, was the music of the 70s. But anyways, that's not what we're about. Today I'm going to tell you about 9 things from the 1970s, having experienced most of them, that should never, ever, ever make a comeback. The 70s was an amazing decade in so many ways, but the music influenced me the most in such a wide range of styles. And the electronics market was changing in the 1970s. The advent of home video, home computers were just beginning to trickle into the home market. But there were a few things that were not so cool. In fact, here's 9 of them. Number 1, the 8-track tape player. I bought my first and only 8-track car player at Ray's Boppin' Shop in Oscoda, Michigan. I think it was the summer of 1973. And my dad was awesome. He spent a whole afternoon installing the tape deck in my 1968 Chevrolet Impala. It was a big hulking box of a car, but he helped me that whole afternoon anyways. He'd never put one in before. I'd never put in anything like that before, and I learned from him. The first tape I bought was Elton John's Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, which had the hit singles Daniel and Crocodile Rock. And Daniel was a song that just, I can't even begin to tell what the memories are associated with that song for me. The song was great, but 8-track tapes were awful. And I don't care if there couldn't be anybody out there that was a fan of 8-track tapes. They frequently stopped halfway between a song to switch to another track, and to me, depending what song you're listening to, that totally ruins it. And that ruined a lot of songs for me. And if that weren't bad enough, the 8-track tape players seemed to always be hungry, ravenously hungry, because it ate a lot of my tapes, a lot of them. So that is something that should remain in the past forever, never to show its face again in civilized society. Number 2, pet rocks. Now, I never understood the fad of pet rocks. People went nuts over it, though, unbelievably. Over 1 million of them sold. And I am grateful that no one ever gave one to me as a gift. Each rock came in a small cardboard carrier that had a little bit of like straw-like material stuffed in the bottom, so you could nestle your little pet rock in there. And but yeah, I'll never understand that fad. And with our economy, though, on the bright side of this, with our economy on the downward slide, maybe this fad should indeed make a comeback, because having a pet that really didn't need anything would be quite an advantage in this time. But not if you want to cuddle a pet. But anyways, so pet rocks, no, never come back. Number 3, leisure suits. A leisure suit. What can I say about them? I also like to call them polyester hell. They felt creepy and unnatural against my skin. They gave me chills. Now, my mom, though, like so many women in the 70s, thought that they were ultra cool. And so she lovingly, God bless her, bought my dad a dark blue leisure suit, and she bought me a light blue, kind of a robin's eggs blue leisure suit. She ordered it from the Sears catalog. I forget what exactly the year was. But you see the photos that I'm showing you, they don't look a bit comfy, do they? Because I hope not, because they were not, and they didn't look it either. The entire suit looked cheap to me. It was a suit, but not really a suit. You could wear it to church, wherever you wanted to be casual, but it wasn't a suit in the sense that you could wear it any place, like go to a fancy restaurant or something like that. The leisure suits, yuck. This blight on the 70s must never, ever, ever resurface. Number 4, macrame. How many of you remember macrame? The various size knots and twists in jute or other natural-looking materials that formed, well, God knows what. But a gal that knew how to do macrame never had to worry about what she was going to give for birthday or Christmas gifts. The trouble is that so few people really liked macrame. They were interesting for a short time. They stayed longer than they should have. Me, like so many others, I was always afraid I would get a macrame gift and pretend that I liked it, because I'm not a very good actor, as you can tell from my videos. But a lot of people made made plant holders, room dividers, wall hangings, and much, much more. Everything that could possibly be made out of macrame, people made it. I did, in fact, receive a macrame gift once. It was an owl wall hanging given to me by my then girlfriend, later wife, and later still ex-wife. As a result of our ultimate divorce, though, I was at last able to find the just right spot for that macrame owl, and that was in the dumpster. I'm sorry, that might be kind of cruel, but hey. Number 5, bell-bottom pants. Actually, I like this fad, though revived in the 1970s. It was originally from the 1930s, 20s and 30s. I used to have pictures from the 20s and 30s of my dear mom in bell-bottom pants. I would not wear anything except bell-bottoms to anywhere. There were two kinds. The kind that I like to call normal ones, like I like to wear. And then there was these ones that looked like giant, huge elephant ears that I don't know how a person actually even walked in them. But here in 2022, as I look back on bell bottoms, they just don't look as groovy as they used to, and will hopefully remain in the dustbin of history. Along those same lines, though, is number 6, men's platform shoes. And I loved my platform shoes. I had one pair, and my bell bottoms would have not looked right without those platform shoes. So most I ever paid for a pair of shoes, $70 in 1975, and they were primo. They were nice, man. They were so cool. Wearing them, I felt like at last I was taller than my girlfriend, who was kind of an Amazonian. You know what I mean? Sorry, but these were popularized by none other than Mr. Elton John, around about 1974, with the release of his album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, because on the cover you see him wearing platform shoes, but the fad really took off after Elton John appeared in Tommy, where he wore ginormous ones. I'm showing you a picture of those right now. Crazy shoes, but I loved them. They wouldn't look good on me now, so I don't care if they come back or not. They probably should. Number 7, yellow Pinto, Ford Pinto. My least favorite memory of the 1970s is that of a lemon yellow Ford Pinto that I had, was gifted to me, was bought for me. The most problematic car I ever had. And it was a true death trap on wheels. If it got rear-ended, it would burst into a ball of flames from which there would be ultimately no escape. How did I end up with the biggest American auto lemon of all time? Well, it was through good hearts. My dad and mom, God bless them both, wanted me to have a safe car to go back and forth from Oscoda, Michigan to Delta College down here by Saginaw. It's been about 1974, I think. And they told me to go out and look at used cars here in Saginaw, because there'd be more of a variety. And if I found one, to call them, and they would come down and they would look at it with me. Oh, I found the perfect car for me. It was a sexy, sporty little Opel GT. I mean, it just looked like it was the bomb. It was awesome, sleek, and I wanted it so bad, and I had every argument set up that they could possibly throw at me for not getting that car. But well, they saw it. They liked it, and then they said no. And then assisted in me in selecting a safe car. And they found one, but it wasn't really. They didn't know that at the time, but it was that lemon-colored Ford Pinto. There was little I could do or say since they were buying the car for me. I couldn't really say, no, I don't want it, and then walk from Oscoda to Saginaw. That wouldn't have worked. But I was so very proud when the salesman placed those keys in my hand and I could pull off that parking lot and realize that there was nobody around that I knew. Ford Pintos should never, ever, ever be revived, and if we ever figure out how to go back through time, they should be erased from history altogether. Number 8, flavored cigarettes. Now, you go to many stores today, and you'll see all flavors and a combination of flavors that are available for vaping, electronic smoking, I guess you'd call it. But back in the 1970s, there were regular and there were menthol, and that was basically all. That was until it wasn't. For a very brief time, lemon and blueberry flavored cigarettes were available, and I reiterate, a very brief time. Me and two of my buddies, Paul Moran and Dan Johnson, bought a pack each, thinking it would be the new cool thing. They were quite horrible. I can no other way to put it. They were quite horrible, and it didn't make you look cool when you were taking a drag on a lemon cigarette and trying hard not to vomit. Just did not look as cool as we thought it would. And not only should these never come back, but should actually, again, like with the Ford Pinto, be erased from history. Number 9, Pong invades television. When Pong was released, it really took the United States by storm. You hear that a lot today, that phrase, but it did. It was a console hooked up to the television set that you could play a game on. A single game. I got a chance to play it when a friend of my older brother Bill, I think Dave Nye, brought the game over to our house. We were all mesmerized by it. I mean, that little white dot going back and forth across the screen and beeping, and you got to try to see if you could hit it back and not miss it. Sounds simple enough? Well, for you gaming geniuses today, yeah, it would be. For us back then, it was a little bit of a challenge. But Bill wanted one, my brother. I wanted one. My sister, I think, liked it too and wanted one. Dad and Mom both vetoed the idea, and for some good reasons, though. It didn't seem like it at the time, but they were good reasons, practical ones. For one, after playing for a while, it would give you eye strain and a horrible headache. And kids like me wouldn't have the brains to stop playing until you already had the horrible headache, and you might not have stopped then. Number 2, second, if left turned on, the image of the game could actually burn into the television screen and would never go away. And the only thing you could do would be to replace that television screen or the TV. We were a society back then that fixed things, but the picture tubes were very expensive. Not expensive as buying a whole new TV, but anyways, that's what you would be up against. So I understand. This one never really went away, though, but evolved into much more complicated devices that I'm sure myself and many of you out there enjoy today. What would you like to see from the 1970s, or whatever your era may be, never, ever, ever see the light of day again? Share it with us in the comments. I'm sure everybody would like to hear from you. And thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this. God bless you. Love you much. And see you all, God willing, real soon.